Hello everybody and welcome to the webinar. I'm thrilled that you've decided to spend a bit of time with us just learning something new or learning more information about marketing. I just want to explain who I am. If you don't know me, I'm Andrea Hedquist. I'm the owner of Exquisite Windows and Decor in Madison, Wisconsin. I've run my business for about the last 9 or 10 years and I'm purely shop at home. So yes, I work from home. I'm also the owner of PinPoint Promotions. I started this business out of frustration because I was just unhappy with the types of content and marketing that were available to me from other sources, and I thought, well, seeing as I'm in the industry and I know a lot about the subject, I'm sure there's lots of other people who would like this information, and by golly there are. So that's a little background on me. So let's dive right into the topic we're going to cover today, which does email marketing really work? So today we're going to cover these 5 points: why organizations choose email marketing over many other forms of marketing, how to get the best referrals and repeat jobs. I want to explain why email is the preferred method of delivering information for our industry, some results and stats that you might find interesting, and then how PinPoint handles email marketing. So first, I just want to go over referral-based businesses, and like many of you, I base my business on referrals because I wanted to set the standard with great customer service and have a great reputation, and by delighting clients, I was able to get a lot more referrals, and that's how I built my business primarily. I think we all know that return customers spend on average 2 to 3 times more than new customers, which is great, and loyal customers tend to refer new ones, and they refer people just like themselves quite often as well, in the same neighborhoods, the same social situations, and decorating aspirations, and on average a customer will refer 3 more customers just like them, which is just what we need for growing our business. So I want to explain to you how to avoid that customer breakup. It is a fact that it's easier to sell to an existing customer, as they already know you, they like you, and they trust you, than it is to close a sale with a new prospect. After all, they've bought from you before, they had a great experience, and they're happy to do it again. So therefore, there's no risk involved. Now think of some companies that you've done business with in the past. Think of the ones that kept in touch with you, maybe said thank you, sent you a thank you card or a nice email, or just information, kept you up to date on products and services that they were introducing, and really just showing you that they care about you as a customer past that initial sale, and that you were valuable to them, and therefore kept that customer relationship going. Now on the flip side, think of all the companies you've done work with that you've never heard from again, never heard one thing out of them after that initial sale. Would you choose to do business with them again? Would you refer them to anybody? Maybe not. And in essence, that's a customer breakup. So really, if you're not letting your clients know you're thinking about them when it's time for them to buy, how can you expect them to think about you? It goes both ways. And in essence, that is a customer breakup. And nobody likes a breakup, right? So let's talk about the cost of keeping in touch. There's so many different ways that you can keep in touch with your clients, just some of them on the slide here you can see. You might have tried some of them or all of them. Believe me, I've tried all of them. But one thing's for sure, whichever one you try is going to cost you one or maybe both things. It's going to cost you time and going to cost you money, and some of them cost you both. So there is one other method though, and I want to share that one with you. That is the hope method, or some people call it the hope and pray method, which honestly, if you're employing this method, it's not much more effective than that. Basically crossing your fingers and hoping that your clients will call you again. Again, it's not very effective. You shouldn't base your business on it, and it's certainly not very trackable. So what should you do? I'm going to tell you that sending a monthly email newsletter is a very effective way of reaching your audience. It's not only effective, it's the proven #1 way to keep in touch with your audience. And here's the reasons why. It's very much content based. So emails are content driven, And something that your clients love is content, is useful information that they can take or forward or act on. And it's a perfect way to deliver that information. It's also very non-threatening to get an email. It's very easy to share. They can just click forward, send it to a friend or family, or they can hit reply and reply right back to you. So we often enjoy a very fast response rate with emails, and they're professional too. They can be branded with your logo, your company information, and they look very, very put together. Of course, you're top of mind because you're in their inbox. So, everyone's trying to get into everybody's inbox this day. And of course, email's free to send. We've done a lot of research on this, and we know exactly how often to send them, what day and what time to send them. And honestly, that keeps you staying ahead of your competition. So let me explain what PinPoint Promotions can offer. And what we do is we put together professionally curated, pre-made email newsletter templates. And because they're coming from a window covering dealer, then they're just for us. They're just very tailor-made towards this industry because I'm in your industry, and I know what customers want to hear about. So let me show you an example of that. This is one of the newsletters, and it's branded with my business, as you can see. Now, just to clarify, it doesn't come in 4 columns like this. This is just so I could fit it on a slide. It actually just scrolls down. It's a seamless blend all the way from your logo at the top there, all the way down to the darker grey area on the right, which is your contact information. So they look very, very beautiful. And this is the reason why they're the best way to send information to your clients, because it's visual based. It's visual and it's full of pictures. And I mean, you must know that when you're trying to sell window coverings to somebody, it's far easier to pull out a picture and show them what the window covering will look like, rather than trying to explain it in words or any other way. So yeah, visual is the way to go with the design business. Now, every month they change. So we've done Thanksgiving templates, Christmas, 4th of July, beautiful ones to celebrate the new year, spring cleaning, all kinds of different topics, but they're always on trend, and we always weave in the window coverings in there. Now, what we're hoping for is that people see you as an expert. They see you as an authority on window coverings, therefore they trust your designs and your decision making, and they're more likely to buy from you. So this really establishes you as an expert, putting forward great tips and tricks and style information. Now, it's important that you're not one note. If you send them the same thing every single month, they're like, yes, Andrea, we know you do window coverings. It's important to vary it, to keep them engaged, to keep them like, oh, I wonder what Andrea's going to write about this month. And therefore, they will keep opening your email rather than just go, yep, I know what she has to say. So we're always got to keep them guessing. We've always got to vary that content. And that's why we do lots of different topics. So as you can see, it's very professional, visually appealing, very quick to digest, and definitely on trend. So let's talk about the stats surrounding email marketing, or ROI, which is return on investment. And that's basically calculating how much money you spent on the marketing channel and therefore how much revenue you got from it. And that's how we figure out what is that return on investment. Now, marketing can be a complex puzzle. Some people are scared to death of marketing, just not knowing what to do, where to start. It can be very confusing. It's basically building blocks. But again, if you don't know which block to add and in what order and which one's effective, then you know better off. What I would suggest to you is that you consider using systems which are targeted. So targeted as in you know where they're going to your specific email list, or your past clients and contacts and all those prospects, everyone that you've ever touched before. That's a targeted system. And you also want to get one where you can track the ROI so that you know if it's working. Now, email delivery systems make this very, very easy. And the one we use is called MailChimp. It's free to set up an account, and it's free to use with under 2,000 email addresses, which I think we'll find that most of us fall under that category. If you're over 2,000, then there's a small charge to continue. But basically, the email delivery system does the work. It tracks how many people you sent the campaign to, how many of them actually received it, how many viewed it and opened it, and then how many acted on your campaign. And when I say acted, I mean, what did they do? Did they click? Did they click on a link that sent them to your website? Did they forward it to somebody? Or did they hit reply and write back to you? That is a way of tracking the return on investment. Now, email typically yields $44 in sales for every $1 that you spend on it. That's a massive 44% return on investment, which is huge. I don't know of any other marketing channel which offers that kind of return on investment across the board. And like I say, I've tried many things, and this one is the highest. So let's delve a little deeper into why people use this. Why, if email marketing really didn't work, why would so many of those big brands that we know use it continue with it? Why would they spend billions of dollars a year on this particular system? Now think of all of the emails that you do receive, telling you about their new latest and greatest, their information. I mean, they want to communicate with you. That's how they keep you engaged. Now, this slide, don't get me wrong, I am not knocking social media. Social media has a very, very important part to play in a marketing strategy, but I just want to show you the difference between what email marketing is meant to do and meant to be used for and social media. So email marketing, like we just talked about, is there to deliver a targeted, personalized message. It's your information, when you want to send it, to who you want to send it to, and you want them to see it. It's great for converting subscribers into customers, because let's face it, all of the people on your email list, they might not all be customers. They might be prospects. They might be people that have signed up before. They might have been just people that you've touched and you've had a contact with before. We then want to turn them from that into a customer. It's great for that. It builds relationships with your customers that you have already, keeping your eyeballs on your brand, and then also retaining customers. You work very hard to get these customers and you want to keep them. We don't want them to be somebody else's customer. Now, social media, what it's really for is to drive traffic to your website and build a brand recognition, build a community around that brand, and then loyalty to go with it, and then turn them into a customer. Now, another statistic I've got for you here is about engagement. It's okay sending this information or getting this information to your client. What do they do with it when they receive it? Social media has very low engagement. It goes out to lots of people and everybody looks and watches and browses and looks at their Facebook page and everything, but they don't necessarily click and do anything. They're just looking. We're all voyeurs at heart. So that's why it's only just over 0.5% for engagement. The email open rate, and this is across all industries, not just the window covering industry, it's over 22%. The open rate, which is how many people open your email, that's what we're interested in. That is the standard rate. Now, many of PinPoint's subscribers have a higher open rate than that, and it all comes down to list quality. If you're sending an email out to thousands and thousands of people, you're not going to have as much engagement because they might not know you or know you very well. What I find with most of our subscribers is these emails that are on people's lists, they are clients, they are friends of clients, they're friends of you, they're people you've done work with, they're people that you've given quotes to in the past, they're people that have had some kind of interaction with you, and that's why they're happy to get your email. If they're not, they'll simply unsubscribe, and that's fine too. But in generally, we have very high quality lists, and therefore our open rates are higher than 22%. And then the last statistic there is the click-through rate, and that is the rate of when they opened your email, what did they do? Did they click on it? Some just read it, and that's fine. But if they're going to click somewhere, like go to one of your other social media channels, hit return, reply, and get back to you, that, believe it or not, that's a high click-through rate, 3%, but I would say that ours can get a little higher than that. So the last statistic I want to give you is why we would choose email, and that's because when you survey customers, that's how they want to receive the information. They want to get it by an email. They don't necessarily want to be bombarded with social media and pings and clicks and dings on their phone or text messages, because it's very intrusive. And that's not the way they like to receive it. But if you send them a very nicely put together email once a month that they can read at their leisure, they'll be happy with that. So the bottom line is, after all is said and done, with all the research that's been done, email marketing is 40 times more effective than social media at generating sales. And sales equals money. and money equals revenue, and that's what keeps us in business. So let's talk about a newsletter, shall we? How long might it take you to create a newsletter? And I know that you probably could, but a lot of people say to me, I just don't know what to write about. Well, of course not, because we're busy doing a lot of million other things that we should be doing to run our business. So you've got to choose that topic. You've got to write about the topic. You've got to source a bunch of photographs that are nice and legal to use, or you can use your own. I don't know about you, but many of my window covering pictures from my clients, they just don't look that good. I'm not a bad photographer, it's just there's a great big window normally stuck in the middle of the picture and it doesn't look that good. So that's why we use beautiful pictures, because that's what people want to see. And then you've got to put it all together, design it and make it look awesome. And believe me, you'd probably end up with a headache and look something like that guy's looking in the picture. But if you were being optimistic, I'd say you could probably get that done in 2 to 3 hours. And that is if you were locked in a room with no phone, kids, dogs, employees, the FedEx guy, whoever else wants to interrupt your day, knocking on the door. So what you've got to figure out is, what is your time worth? I know what my time's worth. When I'm out designing, it's $100 an hour. So if I spent 2 to 3 hours doing this instead of what I should be doing, that's potentially $300 that I've just wasted because I wasn't out generating sales. So you've got to figure out what your time is worth. Now let me tell you what it really costs for us to do this. And before I explain that, I want to let you know there's no contract with this. There is no lock-in. There's basically nothing to lose. If you don't like this system, you just cancel it. It's as simple as that. We won't be offended. But if you want to go for it, then it's 2 easy payments, 2 easy ways of paying, should I say. There's a monthly subscription of $149 a month, or there's an annual subscription of $16.39. And that annual subscription gives you 1 month free. So you're paying for 11 issues and you get 12. Now, the great thing about the network is that they always bring us great value on all of the vendors that work with the network. And of course, they've done it with us. So they've slashed that monthly price down to $99, which is a $50 savings for you in a month. And the annual subscription comes right down to $1,089, which is actually a massive $550 in savings over the course of a year. So thank you to the network for bringing us that great value. So what else do you get with your subscription? Of course, we want to help you. We want you to have success and we want you to get up and running quickly. So there's tutorials on the website of how to customize your template, how to add some custom content, how to change images or resize them maybe, how to set everything up in MailChimp, which we talked about is the mail delivery system that this system uses, and how to import your data. So we're there every step of the way to help you be successful. So what can you expect to gain from sending a newsletter? Well, of course, you're going to be top of mind. You're in their inbox, and that's a great, great place to be. You're going to get those repeat jobs and referrals because they're remembering you. Now, this is based on my list, just my list. I mean, over the course of 6-7 years, I've probably put in 1,200 different email addresses into my system. And I've probably got a rolling active list of about 900 because people unsubscribe for whatever reason. That's fine. And then you subscribe new ones. And that's how we keep it full. So based on my active list, I get 2 to 5 replies a month, which is pretty good. And of those 2 to 5 replies, I can get anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 in sales just out of those couple of appointments. Now, not all replies turn into sales, but 9 times out of 10 they do because they've started the conversation. All I need to do is get back in touch and book an appointment. Of course, we're going to get easy closes because these people know you and they like you and they've asked for you to get back in touch. So that's very, very easy. Now, if you have a lot more email addresses than that, you can expect to get more replies. If you're just starting out and you've got, say, 50 email addresses, then you might get a smaller response at first. But as your list grows, your replies will grow too. And I think you'll find they'll be very happy to get an email from you. Now, on the flip side, what can you expect from not sending a newsletter? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but it's happened to me. I've been out shopping one day and I've bumped into a previous client. Oh, hi, great to see you. Oh, Andrea, I wasn't sure you were still in business. I hadn't heard from you in so long. It's been so many years since we worked together. You know, that just is a knife to the heart. It really does. That they thought that I'm not in business anymore because they hadn't heard from me. I'll give you a personal story here. Like I say, I've been in business 9 or 10 years. I've been sending emails for about 6 or 7. I was spending at the height up to $500 with a marketing company, having them handle everything for me, and it was great. I wasn't unhappy with it. I thought the content could be a little bit more in keeping with my business, but in general it was okay. But I stopped doing it, and I saved the money, and I decided I was good without it. And after a while, I was getting lots of comments of, "Oh, I used to get an email from you and I don't anymore, so I just figured that you'd close the business." No, I'm still in business. So I'm sure you know what I did after that. I started sending newsletters again, and I've never stopped since. That's too scary a thought for me not to be keeping in touch with my clients, and it's brought me a lot of business over the years. So if you're not sending a newsletter, you better know that your competitors are. They really are. And if you're smart, you'll sign up for your competitors' emails as well and find out what they're doing. And so what you don't want to happen is that your customers, your hard-earned customers, would be enticed away by a competitor's special offer or sale or something that's going on. And that's what happens every day. You'd have no easy way to communicate new ideas and products and styles. You'd have no way of starting that new conversation, and you can lose referrals, believe me. I look at my email newsletter as a virtual business card, which they can just forward on and send to a family member or a friend, and it's good or better than having a physical card in their hand. And so the bottom line is, if you're not sending a newsletter, you could be forgotten, and probably many people are. So I just want to share a little feedback with you. Obviously, we're having a great response from people that are signing up for PinPoint services, and these are just some of the lovely things that people are starting to say about the service, and we're so happy to have them with us. We're very proud that they feel this way. Again, another personal experience. I will tell you that we've had people having responses 15 to 30 minutes after your email's sent. That is kind of the sweet spot, but it just depends when people open the email. So there's no right and wrong to this. I've had new jobs come through on Christmas Eve. I've sent them a Christmas newsletter. Probably not in the office because I'm finished for the holidays, but they've emailed me and said, "Hey, lovely newsletter. Thanks so much for getting in touch. Enjoy your Christmas, and please get in touch with me in the new year because I have a new project." That to me is great, something to look forward to in the new year. So sometimes all they need is something to jog their memory. And what you'll probably find is they'll say, "I was meaning to call you. I was meaning to email you. I was just talking to a friend the other day and saying that I needed to call you about something." And then your email popped up, and there you go. No time like the present. They hit reply and got back in touch. It's as easy as that. So just to wrap up here, and let's go back to that initial question of, does email marketing really work? I want to give you just a few stats here on why it works and why so many people do it. 72% of consumers prefer companies to communicate marketing information by email. That's staggering. That's 3/4 of the population prefer to get email. They don't want to get too much email. Like we said, we know when to send it, how often to send it, so that we're not annoying them. But that's a huge percentage. The next one is 3/4 of companies that use email marketing agree that email offers good to excellent return on investment. And that's, again, staggering. If 3/4 of the people that do this say that it's that good, then of course we're not going to stop. And I'm included in that too. Now, if you think about the ROI on print, it's typically around 1 to 2%. So it just gives you an idea, 1 to 2% versus 40%. And the money that you spend on magazines, newspapers, radio, TV, flyers, phone calls, all of these things, they cost money. And if you're a social media person and you like to spend time marketing on social media, that's fine too, but it's still costing you something. It's costing you probably quite a bit of time. So another statistic I want to share is 65% of marketers report that email marketing is one of the most important channels they use, which is huge, way over half. And then another one, this one's super important. 88% of smartphone users actively check their email multiple times a day. So if they're doing that on their smartphone and you're in their inbox, chances are they're going to see your email. So that's huge. And this next statistic here, 43% of persons aged 65 plus are now using smartphones. This is your baby boomers and your grandparents who have to keep up with their grandchildren and children with the twittering and the Facebook updates and all of the things that young people do. This is how they keep in touch with them. So of course they're now getting cell phones and smartphones. And in that sector alone, that's an increase of 56% since 2013. Now, something interesting to note is you want your campaign to look beautiful whether they open it on their cell phone or their desktop or their laptop. And so you need a system that automatically looks great on all of those three devices. All of PinPoint's templates are mobile friendly. So isn't it annoying when you go to a website on your phone and it's not mobile friendly and you're having to scroll from left to right just to see the whole of the screen? You don't have any of that with PinPoint because they are optimized for all three, and therefore you just scroll seamlessly down and see everything. So make sure that is something that you are making sure. And this last one is 60% of consumers admit to making a purchase as a result of an email from a trusted brand. So if they're doing that for other big brands, then why the heck wouldn't they do it for you? You know, you are a brand, a trusted brand, and therefore we know we're going to get a response from them. So those are just some statistics that I wanted to share. So I know you're asking, okay, how can I get started? It's very, very easy. You just need client email addresses, which I know you have. You just have to get them organized and in somewhere, which is MailChimp. I said we use MailChimp. Think of it as your online address book. Once they're in there, you'll never lose a client again. You need your logo, you need a subscription to PinPoint if you're going to have us handle it for you, and a little bit of time to customize your templates and send them out to people. That's all you need to get started. But hey, we've made it even easier to get started. I want to tell you, we will customize your newsletter for you, and we will schedule it and send it out to your email list, and that's just $25 a month. So take the headache out of it, set it and forget it. You don't need to worry about it again. Now, the good thing with the network is they're always bringing us that super duper value. And what they've decided is that should be waived. And therefore, we will now send this for you and customize your newsletter for free. So for the cost of that monthly or annual subscription, that is now included. So that's a member benefit of $300 in savings a year. So less work, no headache, and more time for you. Well, everyone, that concludes the webinar slides for today. I just want to thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you learned something. I really hope this was a useful session for you. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love you to sign up and use our service if you're so inclined. Get in touch with me. That's my contact information. Maybe just take a little picture of that so that you've got it. Again, Andrea Hedquist. You can go to my website, PinPointProm.com. There's more information on there, as well as easy sign up. Only takes a couple of minutes. You can email me at PinPointProm@gmail.com, or call or text, and there's my phone number. Again, I want to thank the network for collaborating with us and bringing this to you. If you're on this webinar and you're not a current member of the network, then you jolly well should be if you're a window covering retailer. I've been in the networks pretty much since I've had my retail business, and I've lost track of all the savings that I've made with my vendors just being a member of the network. So there's so many benefits to being part of that. And I will tell you that if you sign up with the network, then the savings that you would make alone just on PinPoint services more than covers the cost of their annual subscription. So it's a no-brainer. So definitely check out the network. You'll see a link on my website too. But that concludes everything for today. I thank you for your time and attention. I hope to talk to you in the future. And thank you so much. Have a great day.